The story begins as Hikaru spots a powerful beam of light coming out of a building. Alarms blare inside the building, and guards are horrified to find that something very important was stolen. The thief is named Akai, and she makes her acrobatic escape. A group of guards meet her on the roof, but she is what is called a Mecha Ure host, and she breaks out her weapon. Akai begins to beat down on them, but they have anti-Mecha Ure weaponry. She is captured, and some other host prepares to take back the cube she stole. Akai's Mecha Ure speaks, and is insulted by how his kind are treated. The blue-haired guy doesn't care what its opinion is, because he believes that Mecha Ure are only tools for humans to use. The guy takes back the cube and begins to taunt Akai, but she has some tricks up her sleeve. She breaks free, and an epic battle commences. The guy demands that she be captured, but she is far too agile. Akai eventually dislodges the cube, but its container is broken, and a ton of power erupts from it. This is the light that Hikaru saw, and he feels something strange as he hears a voice calling out for someone to help it. The next day, Hikaru heads to school, and he wonders what he saw. On the train, Hikaru has some sort of panic attack and tries to run back home, but his friends appear to greet him. Nearby, Akai is scolded for causing such a commotion. She is told that the cube should still be somewhere nearby, and Akai vows not to mess up again. Hikaru tells his friend about the voice he heard and the bright light he saw the night earlier. After he got a closer look, the building exploded. Hikaru took a video of it, but for some reason the recording doesn't show anything. Hikaru also saw something bright fall nearby, but that's not in the video either. His friends don't believe him when he explains that the voice was calling for help, and they assume that Hikaru was just dreaming. They mock him for believing in ghosts, but Hikaru is shocked when he hears the voice again. Hikaru rushes towards the voice, but he is told that he's getting too close to a restricted area. This amazing cop tells him to go home, but just leaves him there, and Hikaru hears the voice calling for help again. Something comes over Hikaru, so he runs into the restricted area, and he frantically searches for the source of the voice. He eventually finds a glowing cube, and the voice comes from it calling for help. Hikaru is shocked, but he decides to touch the cube anyway. This causes the cube to fly straight into the sky for some reason, and Hikaru is startled when it comes crashing down. The cube comes just short of hitting him, and it releases an immense amount of power. The light is incredibly bright, and Akai is shocked when she sees it. Hikaru now has a giant arm sticking out of his back, and the arm celebrates as it has been saved. Hikaru seemingly can't feel the giant arm somehow as he searches for where the voice is coming from, and the arm reveals itself. The arm casually thanks Hikaru for saving him and asks for his name. Hikaru is losing his mind as he has no clue what is happening, but the arm remembers to keep his manners and decides to introduce himself first. Unfortunately, the arm has forgotten what his name is, and Hikaru tries to get away from it. Hikaru can't pull it off, so he sees that it's attached to his hoodie. Before he can get any answers, a drone finds him, and it says that its target has been found. Hikaru assumes that it's a delivery drone, so he ignores it to get rid of the arm. Unfortunately, this drone is a weapon of mass destruction, so Hikaru must run for his life. Hikaru tells the arm to get away from him and go with his drone friend, but the arm explains that Hikaru is his only friend now. Hikaru falls as the arm pulls his pants off, but Hikaru manages to use the arm to keep the drone from slicing him in half. The arm points out that they don't have time to laugh, and we see that several more of these Terminator drones have appeared. The arm tells them not to fear though, as they simply need to work together to escape. Elsewhere, a group is informed that the trigger arm has been located. One guy is glad to see that it's back, but everyone is furious to hear that it has made contact with an unknown human. They aren't sure, but they figure that this boy is just a civilian. The president of this group leaves Colonel Sanders to handle the situation, so he orders for a perimeter to be established around the area. He wants to prioritize the capture of Trigger Arm, and he doesn't care what happens to the kid. Hikaru manages to hide for a moment, and the arm credits him for being a fast runner. Hikaru demands to know what the arm is, but the arm doesn't even remember his own name. The one thing he does know is that Hikaru is a really stand-up guy. The arm explains that without something called Arbitrium, he cannot move as he wishes. Hikaru wonders what Arbitrium is, but the arm is really erratic and just asks for the kid's name. Hikaru doesn't introduce himself as he leaves, and he explains that the arm seems to be working well enough to escape on its own. The arm explains that they still might be in danger, and he's worried about Hikaru's safety. Hikaru just blames the arm for everything though, and says that he will be safer if he gets away from him. The further Hikaru gets, the more the arm seems to be in pain, so the arm begs for him not to leave him alone. Hikaru rushes to help the arm, but it quickly recovers, so he leaves again. They go back and forth like this a few times, so it becomes clear that Hikaru has to stay close, or else the arm will lose its energy. Hikaru has no other choice, so he reluctantly puts his hoodie back on that has the arm attached to it. Just then, they are found by the drones again, but this time Hikaru demands that the arm make itself useful. The arm does just that, and it drags Hikaru away. Up above, the blue-haired guy determines that the drones will be enough to handle the civilian because he needs to focus on Akai who is nearby. Akai is down below, but she's really bad with directions, and the person in her ear tells her to go in the other direction. Akai doesn't feel like going all the way around the building, so her arms offer to break through it, but she decides to just squeeze through an opening. Hikaru continues to run for his life, but Akai eventually finds him. She brings her arms back out, and she makes quick work of the drones. Akai calls Hikaru's arm Alma, and she warns it not to move or she will eliminate it on the spot. Akai's arms remind her that she's supposed to read some script to put her targets at ease, but they're interrupted by Bluey. He wants revenge for what happened the night before, and he ends up arguing with Akai's arms. Alma shows Hikaru a way out, and Akai can't chase after them with her arms out. The drones go after Hikaru, but Akai becomes furious. Hikaru regrets ever coming to the restricted area, and he's clearly terrified, so Alma tells them to just leave him behind. Everyone is after him, and Alma doesn't want to involve Hikaru any further. Hikaru is hesitant to leave because Alma will lose all his strength, and Alma is glad to see that Hikaru really is a kind person. This only strengthens Alma's resolve because he just remembered that he never wants to see kind people get hurt. He tells Hikaru to forget everything he saw and get away as fast as possible. Just then, we see that Akai destroyed the blue guy, and she's fed up with Alma running away. Alma surrenders and agrees to do as she says, as long as she lets Hikaru go. Hikaru has completely changed his mind, as he has decided to stop being a coward because it would leave a bad taste in his mouth if he ran away. Akai decides that she will have to destroy them, but Alma shockingly tells Hikaru to step forward. Hikaru is hesitant, but Alma explains that this is the only way out of the situation. Hikaru decides to trust this arm that he just met, and he rushes forward. Alma goes through some sort of transformation that allows Hikaru to punch Akai, and she can only reach out to them as they escape. They emerge from a sewer soon after, and Hikaru formally introduces himself. Back at the building, some kid collapses, and he furiously wonders who stole his Mecha Ude. He is totally enraged, and he declares that the trigger arm is his. Akai's boss is disappointed to hear that she let the arm get away, but he understands because no one could have expected that a civilian would be able to control Alma. They have no time to waste, as their enemies will surely chase after him, so he sends Akai back out to retrieve the arm. Later, Hikaru takes Alma to school, but he makes sure to hide the giant talking arm. However, when Hikaru arrives in class, he is horrified to find that Akai is a new student at the school. Akai ignores everyone to place her seat right next to Hikaru, and she introduces herself. Outside, we see that Haruka is being watched by two people. The girl named Toes feels bad about what she will have to do to Haruka, but it can't be helped because he derised with Alma. Toes' partner teases her about having feelings for Haruka, but Toes vows not to hold back for any reason. Haruka escapes to the bathroom, and he can't believe that Akai followed him all the way to the school. Alma points out that she at least didn't attack him this time, but Haruka thinks that it's only because they were in a classroom. Alma thinks that they should try talking to her because they don't have anyone else to turn to, but Haruka would rather tell the police. Akai shocks them when she appears out of the next stall, and she says they better not go to the police. It turns out that the cops are actually being paid off by the Kagami group who is after Haruka, and they would just hand him over. Akai and her arms demand that he cooperate, but he just runs for his life. Later, Haruka's boys wonder why Akai is so fascinated with him, but he says that he doesn't know why she is chasing him. Akai appears out of nowhere, causing Haruka to hide, and a girl named Shirayama distracts her. Shirayama welcomes Akai because she is a new student, but Haruka is worried for her life. He fears that Akai will be mean to the very kind Shirayama, but he is shocked when Akai just starts scarfing down Shirayama's snacks. The two formally introduce themselves, but Haruka can't believe how normal Akai seems, and he wonders what's going on. Haruka still refuses to talk to her about Alma while he's still at school, so he just ignores her by listening to music. Akai stops stuffing her face to remember that she was just chasing our boy, and Shirayama comes up with a plan. Moments later, Shirayama gives Haruka a note from Akai. She wants to meet with him in the art room in the old school building, so Shirayama drags him there. Haruka has nowhere to run, and he must confront Akai. He scolds her for using Shirayama, but she points out that this was actually all her idea. Akai reveals that she is a member of ARMS, and she has been tasked with watching over Alma and being his bodyguard. Alma's pleased to hear that she will be protecting them, but Akai corrects him by explaining that she will only be protecting Alma. Alma is attached to him though, so Haruka will just have to come along. Alma and Haruka argue over what to do, but Alma says that he would like to learn more about himself. Haruka doesn't trust Akai, but he sympathizes with the talking appendage, and he decides to help him out. First, Haruka wants to know why Alma loses his ability to move when they are too far away from each other. Just then, Akai is shocked when she sees that Alma actually derives with Haruka's hoodie. This is unbelievable because derising involves a mecha-ure fusing with human flesh. Akai determines that Haruka needs to be examined immediately, and he has no choice in the matter. Haruka tells Alma to transform again so they can get away, but the robotic arm doesn't have energy. Running on foot works just fine, but Akai nearly catches them. Haruka doesn't think he can talk to someone as crazy as Akai, but Shirayama tells him that he must. Outside, Toz and Wainer have lost sight of Haruka. They see Shirayama standing guard at the door, so they wonder if their mission has been found out. Inside, Akai's arms want to go in different directions to find Haruka, but Akai decides that they will just be going straight down. Seconds later, the ceiling above Haruka crashes down, and Akai captures him. It's clear that Haruka doesn't want to speak with her, so she wonders why he didn't just finish her the last time they faced off. The thought never even crossed Haruka's mind, which makes him realize that they live in very different worlds. Akai has figured out that Alma didn't arise with Haruka, and he isn't moving because of him either. It doesn't make logical sense, but Alma is a special arm, so it's possible that something else is causing him to move. Alma refuses to believe this, as he credits Haruka for helping him, but the other arms say that Haruka is just taking advantage of the fact that Alma lost his memories. Akai believes that Haruka's up to no good, so she demands that they show her their bond. Alma's eager to do so as he emits tons of power, but he again succumbs to exhaustion. Akai determines that they are not actually connected, and Haruka's even harming Alma. She decides to eliminate Haruka, but Shirayama barges in on them. She is shocked by what she sees, but Akai tells her that they are busy, so she should leave. Shirayama gets out of there, but this gives the hunters the opportunity they were waiting for. Luckily, Haruka also used the moment to get away, so Akai rushes off to find him. Unfortunately, Haruka runs into Wainer, and he sees that he's wearing a Kagami uniform. Haruka hides Alma, but Wainer already knows all about him. Wainer acts like he's a good guy, and the ARMS people are the bad guys. The Kagami group's drones were the ones that attacked Haruka, but Wainer says that it was just an accident. He soon shows his true colors though, as he announces his plan to eliminate Haruka. Haruka is heavily affected by Wainer's sound attack, and Wainer makes way for Toz to finish him off. Thankfully, Alma's able to help Haruka dodge Toz's sniper shot, but she has plenty shots left. Haruka runs for his life, but Alma is confused because he can't sense any will coming from Wainer's mecha-ure. Just then, Wainer immobilizes him again, and Toz fires her most powerful shot. It causes massive damage, but Akai arrived just in time to protect Haruka. Akai's arms explain that the attackers have shackles on their mecha-ures. Shackles are devices that rob mecha-ures of their consciousness. This practically makes them slaves, but Wainer points out that tools don't need any will of their own. Akai protects Haruka from his attack, but now she is the one that's immobilized. She gathers herself and tells Haruka to escape with Alma. She will handle Wainer, but she tells Haruka not to go outside because he will get sniped. Haruka refuses to leave because she was clearly affected by the sound blast, but she tells him that they can't allow the enemies to get their hands on Alma. Haruka has no choice, so he runs away. Wainer isn't worried because he is sure that he will be able to handle Akai, and he chose a different weapon. Akai panics as she realizes what it is, but it's too late. Haruka makes his way further into the building, but Alma wonders if it was really okay to leave Akai behind. Haruka points out that she told him to run for his sake, but Alma just can't leave her. The crazy extremity makes an exit for Haruka to escape through, and he rushes off to help Akai. Haruka struggles as he thinks about what to do, and he decides to help as well. He finds the incapacitated limb and tells him to stop trying to act cool because he can't even move without him. The two think about a plan and determine that they will have to do something about Wayner's sound blast. Outside, Toes figures that Wayner's just messing around again as he isn't responding to her, so she heads inside. We see that Wayner has captured Akai, and he tells her that he just put shackles on her arms. This means that she will be able to control them like slaves, but she declares that she isn't anything like him. Wayner brings his prize to Toes, and Toes reveals that they have orders to bring Akai back alive. Toes orders Wayner to go find the trigger arm, but his search ends quickly as he finds Haruka and Alma in the stairwell. Wayner uses his sound blast, but it doesn't work because Haruka put on his noise-canceling headphones. Haruka heroically tells Akai that it's her turn, but she has no clue what he means because she is all tied up. A look back shows that Haruka never planned to fight the attackers head-on because he would surely lose. Instead, he planned to rely on Akai and her arms to do all the fighting. Haruka's plan has fallen apart, so he just sends Alma to free Akai's arms. Our heroic heroes are an absolute mess because Alma can't do anything while Haruka's too far away, and he must ask him to get a little closer. Haruka just manages to dodge a shot from Toes at point blank range, and Alma can already feel his power returning to him. Instead of using literally any kind of close range attack, Toes tries to shoot him again, but she ends up showing how terrible of a shot she is as she accidentally frees Akai. Akai uses her as a human meat shield as she goes after Wayner, but Toes just tells him to use his sound blast anyway. Wayner refuses, so Toes forces him, but this doesn't help their situation in the tiniest bit, and Akai knocks him out. The building begins to collapse, and Wayner is shocked when Toes just leaves him behind. After the building crumbles to pieces, Akai's teammates arrive. Back at the building Alma was taken from, some guards are horrified to see that something else escaped. This thing is way too dangerous, and it is known as the artificial mecha Ure called Ouroboros. Later, Haruka wakes up, and he is welcomed by the organization that's fighting against the Kagami group. The Kagami group treats the mecha Ures like slaves, and they don't hesitate to do anything for money. This organization that opposes them is called ARMS, and their goal is to free the mecha Ures. Algis is the leader of ARMS, and the mecha Ure derives with him is called Fist. Fist looks just like Alma, and he even calls him his little brother. Fist explains that they are not enemies, and they just want Alma's help. Haruka is skeptical, but Alma instantly agrees to help. Haruka wishes that he would think it over first, but Alma can't stand by while his friends are in trouble. Haruka thinks the situation is a real pain, but he heroically agrees to help. He is shocked, however, when everyone tells him that they just need Alma's help, and they don't need Haruka to do anything. Thanks for watching my recap, subscribe to the channel for more videos.